Well, folks, here we again for the weekly forecast. During this last week, we had several pieces of energy move across the state. The first one that moved through was a Sunday night to Monday time frame. We've seen some localized heavy precipitation in isolated spots in north central and northeast Nebraska, along with east central Nebraska, particularly around the Lincoln metropolitan area. Now, the models last week brought all this energy out in one big large piece from the Tuesday night time frame through the Thursday time frame. In fact, reality was the first piece of energy came through early, and then we did see another piece of energy move through as we got into the midweek period, and that's carried on through the end of this week. And most of the precipitation at this point has been fairly light in nature. Although it's welcome, we still would like to see some widespread good precipitation in the ½ inch to 1.5 inch range across the western part of the state, particularly with wheat planting in progress. Now, the big fly in the ointment over this next week is going to be, one, we have a hurricane in the eastern United States, at least off of the eastern United States seaboard, and that may impact the movement of systems that are coming in the western United States in terms of their speed and their eventual storm track. So let's take a look at the upper air models and see what we have in store. First, I'll draw your attention to the western United States. We have this large upper air low that's slowly going to make its way down toward southern California, and in the eastern United States, we are looking at the cutoff upper air low over the Florida Panhandle and offshore over the Bahamas. We do have a hurricane that's going to slowly make its way northward and increase in speed as we go into tomorrow as it gets up into the mid-Atlantic region. Ultimately, the decision is whether or not this comes inshore over Cape Hatteras, whether it comes inshore up into New Jersey, or it stays offshore. And right now, the models are zeroing in on somewhere between Cape Hatteras and New Jersey as a landfall, although the European model has been the best performing model lately, and that does keep it well off ashore. So as we get into tomorrow, we're going to be looking at that low off the western United States dropping down into southern California. We'll start to see warmer temperatures invade most of the central plains, and that'll bring an end to any of the precipitation that fell across the western half of the state, particularly during the second half of the day. And we will see some nicer conditions continue into the day on Monday as ridging takes place, and this low starts to make its way toward the east. Slowly but surely, it's going to make its way toward Nebraska. Here's what the GFS is saying: the hurricane comes ashore sometime as we get into late Sunday into early Monday, close to New York City. And then as we get into Tuesday, we'll start to see this system starting to open up. That'll bring some very nice warm air into the central plains. Nice break after these very cool conditions the last few days, and precipitation will be on the uptick, particularly as we get into the central Rockies and some of that spilling out into the Panhandle. Now, as we get into Wednesday, we'll start to see that low make its way toward the Texas Panhandle, but we are showing precipitation breaking out across the Panhandle in southern Nebraska, a little bit northern drift to this upper air low, and we'll see widespread precipitation statewide. As we get into Thursday, the system makes its way into the Texas Panhandle, and we'll still continue to see the chance for above normal moisture across the southern 1/3 of the state. And as we get into Friday, now the system starts to direct its way movement toward the eastern Corn Belt, and that will leave Nebraska pretty much high and dry in cooler conditions. So as we look at the temperature forecast, we're looking at cool conditions this weekend, giving way to a slight trend in warming during the midweek period before once again we start to increase precipitation from west to east, and that continues through the end of the week. 8 to 14 day forecast from next Thursday to the following Tuesday once again rebuilds the warmth into our region, and in terms of precipitation keeps us in the above normal moisture for at least the foreseeable future.